The first 2 weeks of a writing journey are probably the hardest for most of the writers. This is because your commitment will be tested, and this happens even in any other project that you might undertake. You could be going through challenging times right now, and sometimes it's easier for you to quit. But my philosophy is whatever challenges you're fighting today, you might also be having them tomorrow. Some of the challenges you might encounter in your writing journey might include time constraint. Maybe you might feel like your schedules are becoming tight. This is because you've added a writing project, which is a major project, to your usual things that you actually do on a daily basis, either in full-time employment or in part-time employment, or if you're running your own ministry or business. This means that a bit of your time has been cut off from your daily schedule. So it's okay to feel like that. You just have to work around and manage that time. Another challenge could be health issues. You realize that sometimes you might not be feeling too great to even actually get up and write your book. This is to encourage you that you have to continue going because you've committed to the project of writing your book. It is better for you to continue and know that the challenges that you're facing now in life will probably be there another time in season. Today we'll be looking at the process of writing, and we have defined them into 3 stages. The first one is the pre-writing, the second one is the drafting or the actual writing, and the third one is the revising, what we call the editing. We will be looking in depth at pre-writing, and the first thing you need to look at is the subject. What is it that you want to write about? And so you're thinking about the message that you have in your heart and what you believe God has called you to write about. And so what is that subject going to be? So you need to write that down because that is going to form the basis of everything that you write. The second point is you need to think about the readers or your target, because they define the language you're going to use, they define how you're going to put your content together. And so it's important for you to write down. For example, I can say I'm writing to teenagers between the ages of 13 and 19 or 20. And so that will also help you to form the content of your book. The third one is you need to look at the outline. This is sort of like a map for your book, and so you're thinking, I'll start with the introduction, then I'll go to chapter 1, I'll talk about this and that. Chapter 2, I'm going to cover this, chapter 3, and so forth. This will be important for you as you begin because you already have a map of where you're going and how you're going to get there and the destination. But to say at this point that sometimes the outline might change while you're doing the actual writing, and this is very much okay. We'll discuss that further in another class. Another tip that will help you to get started is for you to decide on a timetable. This is important because human beings, we are creatures of habit, and so it's important for you to decide whether you want to be writing in the morning, in the evening, during the day, once a week, twice a week, every day. Those are things that, or that's a conversation you need to have with yourself to just make sure that you're able to remain accountable first to yourself, and second, also to the person working with you as a mentor. The other thing that you need to look at is what platform do you want to do your actual writing. And so it's important for you to decide whether you want to use a computer or to use your phone, or you're going to handwrite your book and then you type it later. And when you decide that, then it's important for you to also check whether you want to do a word processor or you want to do Google Docs, which is something that we recommend because your work is backed online and you can access your work anytime, anywhere, using any device. Another tip that is usually sometimes overlooked in pre-writing is the place of research. It's important for you to do this process at this point to ensure that you have a very nice time while you're writing your book. You need to do proper research for your topic or for your content. And this will include, for example, now for us as Christian authors, the Bible becomes the basis of everything that we are writing. So it's important for us to have the scripture or scriptural backing of what we are going to write about and have those things written down. You can use the outline to guide how you go about organizing your research, and so it becomes much easier when you start the writing for you to be able to get your work flowing. Another place you can do research is the books that you've read in the past. It will be important for you to pick out the things that are relevant for your content and just be able to put that in place in an organized manner. Another place you do research from is from the internet, and it's important for you to do that at the beginning to avoid you going so wide and shallow when you're doing the actual book writing. It's also important for those that are going to interview other people to do that at this point, because sometimes you do the interviews and somebody says something and it throws you off the plan that you had or the outline that you had done. So just get the research done at the beginning, and then you're going to make reference to that as you're doing the actual writing. Another point to consider is for you to decide where you're going to be writing from. This is a spot that you pick either in your office or in your house, and this becomes your sacred place for you to be able to write. Why is this important? For example, for people who have families and children, sometimes it can become very distracting to do the actual writing when there are people making noise or there are people all over or there are so many distractions. When you have that spot in your office or in your home, that becomes the place that even other people know that this author writes from this space, and so they get to respect that. It's also important for you to note at this point that at some point you might get bored or feel you need fresh inspiration on the location or the space where you want to write from. We will deal with that at some other class in the future, but to say at this point it will be okay for you to feel like that, and you can pick another location or another space at another time.